Hello everyone, my name is Rivky Weiss and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Brooklyn. Our topic for this live today is meaningful action in times of uncertainty. As many of us have experienced and are experiencing, we're living in uncertain times. For those of us who are following along with the war in Israel or with acts of anti-Semitism that are growing around us, it's bringing up a lot of anxiety and uncertainty. Many people have told me they feel like their generational trauma has been activated, their anxiety has increased, and for many of us, the world seems like it's spinning out of control. And the question is, what do we do in a time like this? How do we respond? How do we stay sane? How do we take some meaningful action? What can we do? So I want to go back to something that happened in 2016, and I know it might be a little bit ironic that I'm choosing that story, but I remember reading about it and the message stayed with me for a long time, and I often think about it. In 2016, in Kiryat Arba in Israel, a 17-year-old Palestinian snuck into a moshav and stabbed a little girl. Her name was Halal Yafa Ariel, and he stabbed her until she died. And he was later caught and killed. And that day, there were two mothers who buried their children. One was the parents of Halal, who buried their daughter who was just killed. She was 13 and a half years old. She loved to dance. She was full of joy. She had dreams. And it was a tragedy. It was a life cut short. The other mother who buried her child was the mother of the Palestinian terrorist who murdered the girl. And when the mother of the Palestinian was interviewed, he was about 17 and a half years old, and the mother said that she was really proud of her son. She was proud of what he had done. When reporters later came to Rina Ariel, the mother of who just buried her daughter, and told her what they said, she said, "That woman raised her child with hate, and I raised mine with love." And I remember reading about that statement, and it stuck with me for a long time. Because this is really the core. This was the message that she was giving was, my daughter was full of love, dance, she had joy, she had dreams. And it's important for us to remember that this is who we are and this is what we stand for. And when we're surrounded by so much hate, anti-Semitism, it's become, some people are scared to go out at night, some people are scared to send their children to school, some people are scared to take the train, people are thinking about traveling. People are rethinking a lot of things about their lives, about work. There have been many stories of people quitting their jobs, vandalizing stores, and it's been raising a lot of anxiety for many people. Some people want to fight back. Some people think we need to do something in response. And I think it's very important to remember who we are. Who are we really? What do we stand for morally? And what are our values? And everybody has their own values for themselves, but who do we stand for as a nation and as a people? And that's why I brought that example of what Rina Ariel said, because she raised her child with love. And this is who we are. We are people who love. We do good deeds. We do good things. And for anybody that's following along with the news, there have been protests, pro-Israel, anti-Israel. And what I found beautiful for majority of the protests that were for Israel and to release the hostages and all of that was that we protest with song, with prayer, with candles. We protest in unity. We protest with love. And I think it's very important, even though our instincts are to fight back. They schedule a day of rage, and we schedule a day of prayer. And that's an important piece for us to remember when we want to fight back. We want to write a nasty comment back online, or we want to yell at somebody, or we want to get into a fight with someone. It's important for us to remember, who are we and what do we stand for? And it's important for us to remember that we shouldn't allow the evil and the hate that's surrounding us to change us and to change who we are. You know, as they say, when they go low, we go high. We need to keep the moral high ground and remember what we stand for. Many of you might be familiar with Viktor Frankl and his very famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl was in the Holocaust, Majority of his family was killed by the Nazis, and he wrote a book about his experiences. And probably one of his most famous quotes are, "The one thing you can't take away from me is the way I choose to respond to what you do to me. The last of one's freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given circumstances." And these words are as true today as they were then. When we're surrounded by hate, by fear, by uncertainty, we can't control that. We can't control the rest of the world. We can't control policies of countries. We don't run the government. Maybe some of us do, but I don't run any governments. And some of us have more power in different ways, but some of us don't. And we all feel powerless when we're surrounded by so much that's going on. But we get to choose our attitude, and we get to choose what we do with it. So I'd like to spend a few minutes just to talk about what can we do when everything is spinning out of control, when there is so much uncertainty, so much of it surrounding us. What can we do? The first thing we can do is remember what we stand for, and remember who we are, and remember who we want to be. Do we want to be love? Do we want to be joy? Do we want to be hope? Do we want to give? And I have a couple of things that I wanted to, just a couple of ideas, but I'm sure many of you have more of your own. So the idea is that a person never stays in one place. We never stay the same. We're not stagnant. We grow. And we can choose which direction to grow in. So take this opportunity and choose growth. Choose to learn something new. Try something new. Maybe an activity you've always wanted to try, a hobby you wanted to try out, maybe something you wanted to learn a new language, learn a new skill, learn a new trade. Try something new, something you've been pushing off, something you always said, "I'll get to one day." Now's the day. Try. We can do things we've pushed off, things we've procrastinated, people said we'll reach out to, people who we said one day we'll let them know how much they meant to us. Do that today. You can learn something, a new skill, create more structure. Reach out to other people. Reach out to people that you've been meaning to reach out to but haven't. You can create a new habit, improve something you've always wanted to improve. Maybe you wanted to eat healthier, join the gym, spend more time with family. Find ways to put joy in your life. Find ways to put love in your life. Spend time with family. If these events in the past month have shown us anything, it's shown us the power of family, of unity, of being together. Some people have used this time to create a list of things they're grateful for, or to create a practice of getting up in the morning and saying what they're grateful for, what was meaningful to them. We can pray. Some people, there have been many initiatives of soldiers putting on tefillin, or prayer circles, or song, or evenings of song, evenings of lighting candles, and all different types of things. That's something somebody can do. You can volunteer. There are many ways that somebody can volunteer in their own community, in their own hometown, volunteer to do things for the people of Israel or people who are suffering. There are many ways that we can volunteer. There's another way that some people may want to reach out, and that is to speak up. Some people feel it's very important to speak up. It's important to not stay silent. So to write on social media, to contact our congressmen, our governors, people in our government, to write letters. That's a very meaningful thing if that is for you. It's not for everybody. What some of us can do also, it's important, is to vote for people who will support us and people who will stand for us. And going back to the story that I started with originally, about Rina Ariel, she wrote about 2 years after the anniversary of her daughter's death. She wrote a message on Facebook, and I wanted to read that because it even helped her message resonate even stronger. She wrote that since then, the pain has gotten deeper and the loss even more unbearable. And from this depth, I call on each and every individual, look at your children, at your families, hug them close, love and be thankful for what you have, even when it isn't perfect, even when it's complicated. And then she called on all of us to stand together and to be united and to bask in our combined strength. And some people have asked, it doesn't feel right to continue regular life. Anybody that's been on social media has seen the debate of, do we talk about regular shopping? Do we talk about regular things? It doesn't feel right. We have hostages still missing. Many families are still waiting for news on their loved ones. And how can we just continue a regular life? But at the end of the day, we can help in any way we can. And as I said before, we can take meaningful actions and we can do things to improve our own life and our own selves. But more than that is we can continue to live. We can continue to have joy. We can continue to love. We can continue to be grateful. When the world is full of evil and hate, we can bring more joy in the world, and we can be the light. We can be what the world is missing. And that can help us and for many of us, that is something that can help us get through the day. I know this is going to be a short live. I just wanted to give this message, and please let me know any feedback. Thank you all for listening. Have a good night.